Well, hello. Well, today we are going to be opening up the work of Bruce Cochrane. His work has just arrived for the Matter of Play 5, and Bruce is one of the artists participating in this year's show who has been in for all 5 shows from the very beginning.
I think so, yeah.
19 years. Bruce, as you know, is the former director of the ceramics program at Sheridan, and I think this is the first work we're getting out of your new kiln.
The new wood kiln, yeah.
new
Well,
wood
not
kiln.
so new anymore. It's 6 years old.
So where the hell have you been giving us work for the past 6 years? So this is the new work, and we may as well start with. So this is a wood-fired kiln. Now remember, folks, a wood-fired kiln is one that, unlike a gas or an electric or a propane kiln, you have to maintain attention to the kiln all the time, bringing it up to what temperature do you bring your?
You get up to about 2,400 degrees Fahrenheit over a 30 to 35 hour period.
Wow.
Constant stoking.
So do you stoke that yourself, or do you have helpers?
Usually
or?
have 2 or 3 people
How
who
much beer
have
do you go
worked
through?
in the kiln as well. And
How much beer do you go through?
Oh, quite a bit of alcohol.
Because I know out in BC, and have you been out to Gordon's Anagama kiln?
Yeah.
Which of course turns into this big party.
Yeah.
He even built a pizza oven. Have you built a pizza oven?
Well, it's in the works.
See, I swear.
Yeah.
These. Okay, so here we go.
So again, work that Jonathan has not seen.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so this is out of a recent
Oh my God.
pierced form.
Only for dried flowers, folks.
Yeah. Well, no. You have
No.
you have the choice out of one of these two. So these are inserts. They drop inside so that you can fill those up with water.
Oh,
and
wow.
Have water.
That's
And
fabulous.
have flowers in these forms as well.
That's fantastic. So just as a matter of curiosity, was this thrown on its side, or is this a slump?
No, it's a press mold.
Yeah.
So the two sides were press molded and joined together with this slab.
Right.
The neck was thrown on the wheel and altered into a rectangle, and the foot was also done on the wheel. So there's a combination of press molding, slab building, and throwing.
Okay, and what about the reticulation? Is that, when did you cut that out, or is that part of the model?
No, that's cut out after the form has been set. And then in a leather hard state, I take a drill bit and drill 4 holes and then cut out the
Wow.
cloverleaf pattern. So there's quite a bit of fussing around with the surface.
Just out of curiosity, because of doing this reticulation, that's the official word, reticulation. So when they do that
I call it
reticulate,
piercing.
piercing, I think it's called a reticulated in British pottery. They always refer to that as
Oh,
being,
Yeah.
it's reticulated.
Well, that's what Meg Burgess told us.
Yeah, so if Meg
Oh,
Burgess was
good.
lying
I'll
to us,
start
and she
using
was
that
taught
word.
by Lucy Reese, so there you go. But, so just as a matter of curiosity, is there, I mean, you've been doing this for quite a while, so is failure rate?
Well, I dry things very slowly,
Right.
and that prevents. And the clay body is quite forgiving. It has a lot of aggregate. You term it as a sculpture body,
Right.
so it can take this kind of manipulation, and the failure rate's pretty low.
Pretty low.
Yeah.
But that's due to skill.
Yeah, after 40 years, I
Yeah, you know
I
what
would
you're
hope the failure
Yeah,
rate.
that is to say.
Low.
So you can see it's got a wonderful profile from the side. And now remember that the neck is thrown. And when you look inside, you can see the throw lines there.
If you move your fingers, we can. There we go.
Oh, I'm showing off my rings. You can see the throw lines there, which is really cool. And remember that this is attached here by slip. That's attached by slip here and there. So you've got 2, 3, 4 pieces, and then the base thrown as
The
well?
foot is thrown
And altered.
yeah. So that.
Okay, and then here, and look at
Oh,
here
wow.
you've got chattering, right?
This is done
just-
with a vegetable, what do you call it?
Peeler?
Peeler?
Peeler, scalloped with a
Yeah.
vegetable thing. And And that's just the, it's a lighter colored clay, and there's no glaze on that. That's just from the
Just from the
flames
flames?
and wood-fired action,
Wow.
creating that modulated color. And as well as this, this is just the raw clay as well.
Okay, now I'm
So you
curious.
get all that total variation
Yeah.
from the wood kiln.
I'm curious here, normally when we see wood-fired work, we see the spots where the batting was.
Yeah,
Where are they?
yeah. I use a different method where I place a layer of alumina and silica sand on the
Oh,
surface of
okay.
the shelf, and that resists.
Oh,
any
resistant sticking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So does it end up?
It also
having-
helps prevent warping too. Yeah.
Whereas with
Sometimes
the-
if you have the wadding on
It'll
the
warp.
bottom, it'll warp in between.
It's
Yeah.
like Alain Denise when they do the soup tureen, they do silica sand.
Now remember,
Yeah.
folks, I'm always saying that unless you ask the artist specifically, you don't know how the hell they did it.
Mhm.
Because the first inclination when you turn over a piece of wood-fired work is an expectation that you're going to see these little circles from where the wadding has been. So now that you know, in the hands of an even more professional artist, there are other ways of doing it. So for all of you wood-firing people who are out there, remember silica sand and what was the other thing?
Silica sand and alumina hydrate. Yeah.
So prevents warping, no spots, confuses the dealer, confuses the collector. So there you go. And then here is an alternative insert,
Ooh.
Yeah.
which is, now this is neat because this one, that has been sanded.
Yeah, this is the first one, and it didn't quite fit in, so I ground this down. Thought that was kind of cool, the surface, and but in the meantime, I made a backup. So now you've got
Okay,
two.
so remember when Ruth Gatty McKinley used to do her teapots, she would always do 3 spouts. So Bruce, in doing his inserts, has done 2, or had you done more than 2?
No, two.
Just 2? Yeah, so there you go. So this is, actually, this feels really, really nicely. But it also gives you an indication of how smooth the clay body is,
Yeah.
as opposed to this clay body, which has a lot of aggregate or grit. Now remember that when you're working with clay that has a lot of grit, it's also really rough on the hands, which is really good if you've been gardening, because then it just sort of cleans them all up. So there you go. So there, and here is the official Cochrane signature. And this one has, so this also sat on the silica and...
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially important on a bigger piece like this. Like if I had 4 wads on here, I would get some warping in
Yeah.
between. You know, kind
So
of
this is,
shift the whole form.
and now look also here, you see there is some decoration. Is that from the press mold, or is that post coming out of the press mold?
No, that's after it's come out of the mold. After the holes have been cut,
Yeah.
then I'll go over the surface with a surform, which
what?
is like it's called a surform,
Right.
and it's like a grading tool.
Oh, okay.
So it just brings out a little more texture, like cross hatching
Yeah.
texture in the surface. And
Now
I like the way the flame reacts to that.
Now, what's really neat, Brian, if you just sort of look, and look how the light hits the interior of the pot.
Wow.
Because remember, there is no glaze on this.
No,
This is all the flames. So inside, which of course is protected more or less from the flames, you get this really wonderful coloring. And then when you look at the bottom, you have the ash deposit.
It looks fabulous with all the
Just
light
like
coming
here,
through.
it's got-
So what kind of wood did you fire
I have 10 acres of maple forest on my
with?
property.
Right.
So I've been using mostly that, any of the dead standing trees. I'll cut them down and cut them up into.
So did you also do maple syrup?
No, my father's been bugging me to do that for years, but I
Okay,
haven't
so
done it.
we're going to work that in next year. We're going to have maple syrup cans that are going to come with the Cochrane
Yeah.
syrup. And if my luck can get it, remember it's 6 years since he's had the new kiln, and this is the first pieces.
No,
that
we
had.
actually have 2 other pieces from.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we have 2 pieces.
From the wood.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think
Yeah.
what show that was for.
Yeah.
There you
It's
are.
for the last matter of clay.
Yeah.
This is another reticulated.
Oh wow, reticulated. Yeah. See, even the artists learn sometimes.
So
There we
this
go.
is like a I call this is a funerary urn. So it has a cylinder inside that's attached to this. This was a thrown form that's been paddled into a cube. And then before the top goes on, cylinder is placed on the inside, and then that's lid is provided. The foot ring is thrown separately and attached. And this is a glaze that's 50% wood ash and 50% kaolin, porcelain clay. And it's a very dry surface. Really shows the detail in the form. I like it when
looks great.
when a surface is not too reflective.
It's almost become a lichen.
Well, this is really cool. This is also known as tomb with a view. In, not out. That is pretty amazing.
That is.
And again, when you look inside, and the tomb has that wonderful ash in it. And what's interesting here is that usually, because the glaze is so dry, if you'll notice, it's dry all the way around. Now, sometimes with wood-fired work, you'll notice that one side has a tendency to be shiny, where the flames have hit it, and then the piece acts as a break drop, so that on the other side, the glaze is more matte and falling down.
Mm-hmm.
But this is pretty cool. And if you're over 120 pounds, forget it. You're going to need another room. That's really cool.
That is.
That is stunning. It also works with flowers.
Actually, that would be
But yeah,
gorgeous.
Beautiful flower arrangement, just in case you don't like the person who died, but
White
you bought
or-
them a tomb.
White orchids.
White orchid, yeah. Or lilies.
Lilies,
You know,
yeah.
after all, it is a tomb. But that's pretty cool. Actually, that's really cool.
here's another
Ooh.
lidded form. This is
Oh my God.
Wow.
this is kind of more.
Wow.
Probably haven't seen this work much, but it's for the last couple of years I've been doing this relief work where the geometric shapes are popping out of the form. They're actually they're cut into the wall of the form and then pushed out, and then slabs are added. So what you're seeing on the outside as a positive, you'll see on the inside as a negative.
And what's really
So
cool.
they're not just added onto the surface, they're part of the structure of the form.
Awesome.
So when you look in there, once again, you'll see the rings from the throwing. But if you'll notice on the pieces that are pushed out, again, you'll notice the rings which line up with the other rings. And then as they've pushed out, you'll notice on the inside that for the slab part, there are no rings. And there you are.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous.
Now, this is really interesting because as I was talking earlier, here is where I would imagine the flames hit. Right?
Okay.
Where it's shiny?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you can see that. That's an opening in the bag wall where you've got your flame and your ash being carried through on the flame, being deposited and then eventually melting. So quite often you'll get the ash melting down the surface of the
And then
pot like
remember that as that flame is hitting there, and the flame is obviously hot and making that very shiny, but then that acts as a break drop. So back here, it's matte because the fire is coming at you like this and breaking. And of course, as it breaks, here the vortex draws in some ash, but not a lot. So you end up with this wonderful surface area. So when you look at it, you've got a combination of incredible surface that is, and remember, one of the nice things about a wood-fired where you've got that is that technically somebody who actually knows what the hell they're doing could take all these pieces after they're out of the kiln and could reassemble them pretty well and be able to tell you how they sat in the kiln, because pieces that were near to this would have also assisted and helped in forming the break drop. Anytime I'm wrong, feel free to jump in.
No, I mean, yeah, you got, depending on when you load a wood kiln, you do it in a kind of a strategic way, you know.
To end up with that break.
Yeah, and you know, like the way you place something like that, you're going to have the flame being deflected off of here, you know, causing maybe a drier spot over here. So you can kind of, and you know, Ruth McKinley used to, you know, taught me a thing or two about that back in the day.
Well,
you know,
she was
What's
Paula
the
Murray
price
about
of
the
this?
blush, the kiss of the kiln that everybody thinks is
Mahmood
random.
wants to know the price of this.
Eh?
Mahmood wants to know the price of that.
We don't know yet. Well, but at the end, we will post the price, write it down at the bottom. Is that you, Mahmood? How are you? Mwah! Good to see. Now there, Mahmood is watching this, one of the most talented potters in Canada. His work is incredible. Now this, by the way, getting back to Bruce, this here piece, if you'll notice, that's thrown independent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
so this is a separate piece. So sometimes, let me see, do we have one here? While you're, talk to Bruce there, Ryan.
This is quite remarkable. We have a piece of Ruth's a flower vase, so I'll show you after.
Yeah.
It has the same sort of effect.
Uh-huh.
Oh, there's
Yeah, I
no
like
way.
the combination, you know, the form, the geometry is very tight. And I like that, you know, after I finish the piece, I like the way the wood firing in contrast to the way the pots formed in a very methodical and very tight process. I do a lot of scraping and a lot of, you know, sharpening of the corners, the inside, outside corners and everything. And then to put it into a wood kiln, I like how that kind of softens everything. You know, softens the geometry and, you know, it's, you know, wood firing is a little unpredictable. And so you know, that combination of the tight, very predictable forming and then the unpredictable firing process is sort of interests me, you know.
Well, also, I would imagine that with this type of technique, it's really, really important that the clay is at the right stage of dryness when you're cutting. Otherwise, when you're pushing out, you could end up having, because there's stress that's occurring there when you're pushing
Oh,
out.
yeah, no.
So you could really, the piece could rip and then it's screwed.
Timing is everything.
Yeah. Now this is, I think it's really important to talk about Bruce's knob. There you've got one that's been thrown, and then this piece has been cut out and then attached by slip. Here, again thrown, but attached differently, so without the opening, without the little tunnel there. But it's always really cool to think of how many components there are in making a piece, and there you've got an incredible amount of components, but also an extraordinary amount of skill, because remember, you're dealing with something that is about 1/4 of an inch thick, maybe a little bit less than 1/4 of an inch thick. So as this is drying, when you're cutting away and then you're pushing that out, if you haven't got it right, this is going to tear, the piece is going to be pooched. And when you look inside, you can, I mean, here's the outer skin, but when you look inside, you can see there are no repaired tears. So Bruce caught it at the right time with the right degree of flexibility that he was able to create the piece without destroying the form. Is this an evolution from those earlier pieces that you were doing, the geometric forms, of which we have one here that I will pull out, that you don't know about? Just
This work actually came out of a tile project I did.
Nice.
You know, relief tiles.
But like, is it an evolution from this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here you have, again, look at here, this is an earlier piece, but this time you've got the surface, you've got, you know, this probably sat in the kiln like that. This is the glaze falling on it. Really, that's not glaze.
That is glazed.
Yeah, falling on it really nicely. And again, you can see inside the throw lines, you can see this piece has been pieced in, and it's all really quite remarkable. So this is an evolutionary process, which is why in September we are launching our vintage room so that we can show people with earlier work that evolutionary process that takes in an artist's work, and why it's important in looking at vintage work and to look at pieces from a historical context, because you do have that trajectory in an artist's career. And there we go moving forward. Okay, so.
All right. What else do we have?
We forgot to say hi to Sally's dogs.
Oh, so we only say hello to the dogs on Tuesdays and Thursdays. This is a Saturday dog. She's still waiting.
Ooh.
So,
wow.
so these are
Ooh.
small versions of this technique, applied to some tea bowls. This one has a nice juicy surface on it.
Yes.
So you can see again, it's thrown in two parts. So this is thrown separate from the foot. That's applied. Then this is cut through the wall, pushed out from the inside, and then another piece of clay has been added. And so this is porcelain.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah. So again, that's wood fired, and you
Is
can
that a copper red?
It's there's copper in the glaze for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, a very small amount of copper, but you can see in a wood firing how much variation you get, not only on the surface of the clay, but in a glaze.
And you know what's really cool? Again, remembering that ceramic is first of all technique. I could learn the technique, but then there's the evolution and the ability to take that technique and animate it so that you've actually got something worth looking at for more than the 5 minutes that your mother's looking at that ashtray that you did in school. But look at here. Look at how the beak is, and look at the incredible, it almost has a bird. It could be like a toucan that someone sat on. But look you've got the beak, you've got the little tail, you've got it's a piece that really draws the imagination in, and you've got that fabulous minute crackling, which is really quite extraordinary. And also it feels really good.
It's very mid-century modern.
Yeah, mid-century modern. One of these days that's going to go the way of the dodo.
Yeah. But what's kind of nice about these, they don't have a conventional handle, but you can kind of find a grip, and it's not, you pick this up, you're aware of the surface, you kind of fit your hand into a.
Yeah,
into
this
a
is really
space,
nice because you could actually
or this way,
hold
or
it
that
like
way.
this, and it feels really comfortable. Actually, it must be I think for me this is a left-handed cup because I find this really comfortable. With this, I don't find it. Then I can drink out of the side, but it's really, really comfortable, and I can just see that filled with wine or a little gin. Oh, and look at this little white one.
Nice with whiskey.
Whiskey.
Yes.
Oh, look at that. Again, they have a real avian aspect to them.
These are fuck pots.
I beg your pardon.
Look at the foot.
Oh yeah, look.
Isn't that stunning?
Let me see. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little runoff there.
Yeah.
Kim Harcourt's gonna.
Oh, and look at these little boxes. By the way, the prices will be listed when this is uploaded, and first come, first served. But because the Lisa McGrath's pieces that we talked about on Thursday, there's 4 mugs left.
The Matter of Clay page will go live on Tuesday with prices and pictures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are stunning.
So these little boxes are done on the wheel as well. They've got a roulette texture on top, and they are wood fired.
A texture that he's partial to.
Yeah, one of those roulettes. And ooh, yeah.
Oh my God.
This is porcelain,
That's that color of the bowl that you sold on me.
and that
Yeah, that you're still bitching about.
those two little dots there
This reminds me of.
keys it in.
Nice.
I just bought
Trisha
a
Monastery does that.
a
with her work.
Dykeman vase that's on its way here, and the glaze looks like that.
Some of them have a little sprigged.
Oh my God.
A sprigged
Wow.
on bird. This one has two
Yeah.
compartments.
So that's for your hot. That's for your matches on one side and your weed on the other. So that's really good.
Can I just put this down now, or are you continuously filming?
Yeah, we're continuously filming.
Okay.
Just one more piece here.
Today's artist drop-off day for Matter of Clay. On Tuesday, we have Bruce Taylor,
Angela DePetta.
Angela DePetta,
and Carol Rossman.
and she's picking up. Oh no, she's also dropping.
She's
off.
dropping off her small
And then
pieces.
on Wednesday we have Steve Irvine. Oh my God!
Oh wow.
Yeah, isn't that fabulous?
That is.
These were hummingbirds that hit the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had that.
This
the
was
other
going to
day.
have a glass top, but that was just a little bit too close to the. That's wonderful.
That is. That is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Every box should have a surprise.
So that's that. That's it.
Okay, so that's it. And so remember, this work, the prices will be on the bottom very shortly. This will be uploaded to YouTube very shortly, and there are lots of videos coming over the next week. Thank you for watching and tuning into to today's surprise video. Thank you and bye.